I wouldn't say it's exactly a repeat of last year. We've already shown the country what we have the capabilities to do. So I think this is just adding on to the fact that what we did last year, it's not over.
Seth and then Todd.
Yeah, what's it like now coming in this year, starting this year anew after everything that happened last year? Like, is the vibe a little different? Maybe a little more expectations. Just, what's the difference, I guess, coming in this year?
It's really special coming off a season like that, especially after my first couple of years here. So I think the turnaround's been great, but with a lot of fresh faces, we have some freshmen in here who they saw what we can do last year. Maybe could be a little cocky out on the field. We need to make sure that the standard is upheld and that they have the right mindset going into all of their training.
Todd and Jeff.
Last year, Carter, you were going through what Chris Signetti wanted to implement for the first time. Now you're obviously, you know what he wants to implement. What are you trying to impart to the transfers who are going through this for the first time on the offensive line to kind of get themselves used to what they need to do and all of that? What's your role?
Yeah, I would just say, I've been around Bostad for 2 years now. This will be my third year under his wing. I've pretty much gotten all the coaching points down, and all the guys that we brought in, we got Pat Coogan, we got Zen Michalski, and then we got Khalil Benson. Khalil's already had a year under him, so he kind of knows what to expect. But Pat and Zen are both coachable guys, so as long as we, keep them on the field and keep hammering out the coaching points for the run game and the pass game, I think we're going to be all right.
Jeff and then Pete.
You mentioned Coogan. Obviously, he's got a good reputation coming in. You're working with him now. What do you see? What stands out?
He's a big guy. I saw him across the field during Notre Dame, and you can't really see it, but I saw videos of him on Twitter. Like the breakdown that he did. I'm not going to say it here because it's a little inappropriate, but he's a fun guy to be around. He brings the energy to the center position. It's a good shoes to fill after Mike Kadick left. So I think he's going to lead the room pretty well. And, as spring ball rolls along, I think he's going to get comfortable in his spot.
And how good is he? I mean, there are people out there saying he's,
Yeah, he's doing well for us right now, but I'm not going to get into anything right now. There's still a few coaching points to be hammered down, but I think he's going to be good for us.
Pete, second row on your left, and then Daniel.
Yeah, Carter, when you look at the potential of this offensive line, everything clicks the way you want it to. What is the upside of this?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The upside of the offensive line, if everything clicks the way we want it to.
We'll have the same results as last year. We had multiple explosive runs every game, 10-plus yard runs. As long as we hit our targets, everyone's on the same page. The run game's going to explode. Fernando's going to have time in the backfield to make decisions in the pass game. So as long as we do our job, everything's going to mesh well together, and we're going to get similar results to last year.
Front row on your right to Daniel, and then Dalton.
You said upholding the IU standard from last year. What is that process in the spring? How do you kind of try to approach that? What's it look like?
We keep up with workouts. We're still going pretty early in the morning, making sure that everyone's on time, making sure that no one overlooks the smallest detail, because the smallest detail can be one of the biggest killers. I think just making sure that everyone's in the same headspace and keeps the same work ethic in mind, then we're going to flourish.
I want to say Sig mentioned the roster is like almost half new. How hard is it trying to get everyone kind of aligned like that?
Being in different positions, like what we do, we have lifts, whether it's O-line, D-line, and then we'll have offensive skill and then defensive skill. So I still don't know a lot of the names around there. Like I know Hemby, we got EJ back. There's still a lot of offensive guys that I still have yet to, meet. I think that's a big part of it. We're going to get an offensive meeting here going pretty soon so that everyone can put a name to a face. Just knowing the person you're playing next to makes a whole lot of difference.
We'll go Dalton and Zach.
You mentioned Zen. I guess what makes him the player that he is, and what have you seen from him?
He's got good length. He's an Indiana guy, so I think his roots being from here, that he's pretty closely tied to the university, even though he came from Ohio State. But I think he's got good length. He's fast. He makes good decisions, and as long as he keeps his coaching points in mind in the film room and out on the field, I think he's going to be a great player.
Second row to Zach and Savannah.
You talked about it a little bit, but how are Pat Coogan and Mike Kadick similar, and how are they maybe different?
I would say they're. Sorry about that.
Catchy.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so Pat Coogan and Mike Kadick, how are they similar and maybe how are they different as well?
I would say they're very similar energy-wise. You know, they both bring a certain energy to the offensive line room. They're uplifting. You know, Mike can say some pretty outlandish things, but you know, it gets a laugh off or two, so it's pretty good for us. And I think Pat, you know, he's a little more docile, but he's a good decision maker, and you know, pretty much same as Mike. I think they're both very similar in that way.
And Savannah will wrap up with Nick.
You mentioned the coaching points. What are those coaching points that you're trying to emphasize?
Yeah, just making sure that all the little stuff in the film room is getting done on the field. I can't go into anything super specific, but you know, maybe an aiming point on a certain block or reading the defense a certain way for the quarterback. You know, it all varies from position to position, but all those little things that happen in the film room are what make a big difference on the field.
Okay. Do you have a favorite moment from last season?
That's wow. What do we think, Fish? Favorite moment from last season?
Winning.
Yeah, I would say Nebraska was fun. You know, a lot of media were talking about what was going to happen, like, you know, Nebraska unstoppable run defense, and then we throw up 5 running touchdowns. That feels pretty good, you know, after a season that we had last year. So, you know, that really put a smile on my face. I will say moment number 1 was in the Rose Bowl when, you know, most of the UCLA fans left, and then all you could hear in the crowd was, Hoosiers. That was pretty cool. So,
Awesome. Thanks, Carter.
thank you guys.